Okay, we got off on a little bit of a tangent because of the amount of, 28 to be exact, 28 super chat donations. Thank you guys for being here today. Where to next, partner?
Well, maybe we should do Lamar Jackson really quickly, and then we can get to more on the offense. But we kind of mentioned we went over it yesterday in the post-game show. But if you happen to miss that, Gene Steratore put out a video and a tweet that said that the referees in yesterday's game missed a tripping call. So he says officiating mobile quarterbacks involves additional considerations compared to traditional pocket passers. Lamar Jackson extended the play with a juke, and a defender extended his leg to tackle him. This should have been penalized as tripping since there was no whipping motion with the leg. If there was a whipping motion, it would be a foul for a leg whip. Both are 15-yard penalties. So he's saying you have to have more consideration for somebody like Lamar versus if you're just standing back. So I quote retweeted that, and I took a screen grab of I'm not going to get his
itself. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
joke because it makes it easier to say. I say, yeah, pretty obvious mistripping call, and he looks like he's like pulling out karate, kung fu, whatever you want to call it. So at about 9 o'clock, Lamar replies to my tweet. He says, not even. MFer kicked me in the elbow, LOL. But White Cap, meaning the referee, said they can do that. And then he has one of those dizzying emojis and says, wowzers. So he clearly had a conversation with the referees saying his leg was so far up, it's hit me in my elbow. So not only is he like on the run, but you hit him in the elbow. Like now you're taking away, first of all, you're kicking him down to tackle him and you're taking away his ability to throw it. So Lamar Jackson has been more vocal, obviously, on officiating this year. But this one, I think just venting some post-game frustration. Certainly nobody here is saying that the referees is the reason why the Ravens lost. Not at all. For some reason, whenever we talk about missed officiating, everybody goes to that conclusion. We like to hold everybody accountable, including the referees. And according to Gene Steratore, they're just wrong. And they told Lamar that it could happen. And Gene Steratore is saying, no, it cannot.
Yeah, that was some late night frustration from Lamar. 9:01 is the timestamp there. So had a chance to probably sit back and think about the game itself. And obviously this was before JOK went down with a very, very serious neck injury, as we covered on the post-game stream. So hopefully he's doing okay. The reports out there, the reports out there were that he was immediately transported to the hospital, and he did have movement in all of his extremities. So dude's a hell of a player, and just caught Derrick Henry. Obviously had a bad time. Just the king, the brute that is King.
Two more things on that real quick, Bobby. Number one, I feel like I need to say wowzers more often. I haven't used that in a while. Love that. Love that from Lamar. Number two, what was also funny is joke after that. It seemed like his celebration also involved kicking. I couldn't tell if he was like recognizing what he did was wrong, but then he's like, oh, nice. I didn't get called for it. Or if he was celebrating with another kick, but he was still kicking even after the play, which was a little bit funny.
Where to?
Maybe on to Todd Monken here. Kip Smithers, who's just a Ravens Flock tweeter, he tweeted something that I know was that's been on my mind. And then I think Shannon Sharp and Nightcap kind of spoke to it too. But as we know, yesterday, Derrick Henry only had 11 carries. And Kip says that tells me in this loss that the Ravens coaching staff hasn't learned a dang thing since the AFC Championship game, and they'll do it again come January. And Bobby, I also don't understand it. People talk about how when the Ravens are playing from behind, maybe that's why they start running less. But they never were down by more than 3 points in the first half. And then they took the lead, obviously, late. They were never down by more than 3 points in the third quarter. They even took the lead at one point. And then it wasn't until, I guess, the beginning of the fourth that they're down by more than that. And so, okay, at that point, yeah, you got to be throwing the ball. But for 3 quarters, you're never out of it more than 3 points. That's not a reason not to run. It's not a reason at all. Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco talked about it last night on Nightcap.
Oh, Derrick Henry is averaging 129 yards a game. Go back and look at his last 3 to 4 games. He probably averaging 175. And you give him 11 carries?
But you know what? That's on Todd Monken. That's on him. That's on the play calling. Something made them divert away from the run game. I don't know what that is.
Let me pause it here real quick. I think I know what it is. I think it's the offensive line. I think from the beginning, Todd Monken, like before the game had even started, it was clear that he scripted, because he scripts about the first 15 offensive plays. He scripted plays that weren't even challenging the Browns defensive line up the middle. And I think that's why he got a bit cute on those 3rd and 4th and shorts. So, but if you don't have confidence in the offensive line, I don't know that the answer is 11 carries to Derrick Henry. To me, it's use Derrick Henry and Lamar together and keep people guessing of who's going to get the ball. Use play action. Don't abandon it. So I think that was the reason, though I don't think the answer was correct. All right, let me keep playing this clip here.
The Ravens, you have the recipe on that 5-game winning streak that you went on. What did you do?
I don't know.
You ran the ball. They had 45 carries against the Cowboys.
Well, you know why? You know why it was 45 carries? Because they can't stop the goddamn run. Hell, they couldn't stop a goddamn nosebleed.
Ocho, you averaging 6 yards a carry on 21 carries. What the run game also does, if you know you have a weak defense, running the football helps you keep their ass off the field.
Yeah.
The weakest part of the Ravens is what, Ocho? Their defense. What keeps them off the field, Ocho? Running the football.
I think he's got it right there, Bobby.
If it is an offensive line trust thing, I have a hard time blaming Monken yesterday. Those lanes, those open windows. How many times did we say yesterday in the postgame live stream? How many times Derek was met in the backfield? It was not working. He had a couple of his big gash runs, but it was
early. He had a 39-yarder early.
He did. But after that, what was there after that? I got to look at his splits. He had the long of 39. He finished 11 for 73. It's a nice average of 6.6 as Unk was getting at.
The 39 obviously helps.
The 39 helps that number, skews it a little bit. But I don't know if I can blame him there.
But
Cleveland came ready.
What is your biggest threat on offense? It's this duo. It's the duo. So like options, faking it, keeping it, like keep them guessing as you've been doing all year. This whole thing right here, Ryan Mink re-showed, I can't show the whole video, but he said, here's what happened on the Ravens failed 4th and 1 direct snap to Derrick Henry. I appreciate that he got creative in that. He brought Ronnie Stanley over. That's Ronnie Stanley next to Charlie Kolar. And they both ended up getting beat. Their two guys, number 6 especially, hit Derrick Henry before he even got to the line of scrimmage. But the point is if you don't have confidence in them against this Browns defensive line, who's very good, by the way, keep them guessing. You're not making them guess here. You know it's a direct snap to Derrick Henry, and these guys can tee off.
Yes.
So help your offensive line by making it a mystery of who's getting the ball between Lamar and Derrick Henry. That's why you can blame them.
Look, on this one, yes. We're talking about the game collectively.
I'm talking about collectively too. This is just an example of what I'm talking about overall.
Sure.
You don't abandon Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson because of the offensive line. I get that. but you can help the offensive line by making them guess all game long, whether it's play action or an RPO or a triple, like whatever it takes. Like, keep them guessing. Don't telegraph what you're doing, which is constantly dropping back for Lamar or running out to the edges or a wildcat or like, it just happened time and time again. Use your two threats and keep them guessing.
I don't think we're giving Cleveland's front enough respect.
I am. That's why I'm saying use Lamar and Derek to confuse them to help your offensive line. Don't go away from who you are, because you're still helping them by dropping the back nonstop, and they can just go and rush Lamar Jackson. How are we not giving them respect?
Myles Garrett generated. Well, you're asking why they got away from the run, right?
No, I'm saying that my theory of why they got away from the run is because there wasn't trust in the offensive line versus the defensive line. That's me giving props to their defensive line, not taking away from them. But what I'm saying is the solution to me is using your duo and keeping that defensive line at least a half second behind, so they're guessing what you're doing.
I don't know if Todd trusted the duo yesterday. Myles Garrett generated.
Well, I hope that's not what he says. You don't trust Lamar and Derek. You're going to instead put it in Charlie Kolar's hand.
Well, obviously that's not the option. That's not the answer. But Garrett had a quietly effective game. Myles Garrett had 8 pressures on 33 pass rushes. 6 of his pressures Cole Jackson put these numbers out. 6 of his pressures across 26 matchups came against Ronnie.
So slow him down by not abandoning Derrick Henry. The answer is right there.
What else did Unc and Ocho have to say?
Well, we don't have enough time, but they were talking about how Jameis Winston, they were saying obviously Watson isn't the answer because Joe Flacco can run the offense, and now Jameis Winston can run the offense. And so they're saying that Watson is clearly the problem. And a lot of people are saying that in Cleveland. I will just say this. Maybe Cleveland, this is going to be another Joe Flacco moment. Maybe it will. I would just say to Cleveland, wait until you're not up against the 32nd pass defense, who also was hampered by losing 2 of their corner starters. So maybe this will be a new page for them, just like Joe Flacco was. But also, I would pump the brakes if I were Cleveland to make sure that they can repeat this against a more sound pass defense.